Thank you to Jeremy St. Louis for that. That is the question for the Dallas Cowboys. Can they finally bring it all together? Welcome in Charles Davis, going to be calling some of the biggest games for CBS here. So let's start with the Cowboys. Let's start with Mike McCarthy on the hot seat there, if you want to call it that. Yeah. You got Sean Payton saying, look, I'm going to come back to the NFL. He's been tied a lot to the Cowboys. He's even setting that aside, though. Yeah. How warm is this seat for Mike McCarthy?
If you're the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys,
it's always going to be hot.
Amanda, the seat is always warm, and sometimes it goes a little bit hotter depending on how the season is going. Look, they're getting to that stage now. Jerry Jones owned this team for a long time. You heard Jeremy St. Louis describe how long it's been since they've hoisted a Lombardi trophy. I'm not going to say they're impatient. That's not really the key. But boy, the urgency has to be there for Jerry Jones as the owner and the general manager, the team president, everything with this team. He wants to see that star back in the biggest game, back in the Super Bowl. They've done everything possible to get there. They want to see it happen. So yes, it'd be disingenuous to say that the seat is not warm. As you said, Sean Payton aside, it's always like that for a Cowboys head coach.
They specifically picked that sad little picture of Mike McCarthy there, just going.
Yeah, that's cold. That's
cold.
The
job, though.
That's
it
cold,
is a little
right?
cold.
That's cold.
Let's talk about Dak, though, because look, he had the gruesome ankle injury 2020, and just watching him come back from that, statistically one of his best seasons ever, career high completion percentage, completions, touchdowns here. What do you expect from Dak coming into this season?
I expect even better, and whether or not that translates to the actual numbers, Amanda, I'm just talking about Dak Prescott. It's a whole different ball game for any player, let alone a quarterback, to go into a season where you're healthy and you're preparing for the season, not rehabbing all the way up till the opening game. You remember last year, we're watching them during Hard Knocks, and he's got shoulder issues going on because, he's still adjusting to the ankle, how many days he can practice, all those things. That's out the window now. 37 touchdown passes last year. I think that he did an excellent job with that ball club, battling through some things, not being fully healthy, not being the Dak Prescott they want. And this year, I expect his legs to come back into play a little bit more. Dak Prescott running the football, he can be very dangerous that way as well.
And when he began to do that, you always got nervous, though, last season.
Oh, of course, you had to. I mean, you always do that. You always do that with the number one quarterback. But remember, Dak Prescott is, 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds. He's going to be okay.
He can move around. Talk about the passing touchdowns there. 37 last season. Let's go for a prop here. Over, under 30.5. Which way do you lean?
I'm going with over, okay? As you mentioned, Amanda, 37 touchdown passes last year against only 10 interceptions. I look at who his targets are. He's going to be throwing to CeeDee Lamb. They're going to get Michael Gallup back probably after about the first month of the season. I do think that the tight end, Dalton Schultz, is going to continue to elevate. And the backfield guys catch the football really well. Tony Pollard, look for him to get into the slot a little bit more. Give the ball to him in open field. 37 touchdowns last year coming off the ankle injury. I think 30.5, especially since Dallas is no longer a true run-first team. Everything runs through Dak Prescott. Yeah, definitely over 30.5.
Expand on that backfield a little bit. You mentioned Tony Pollard there. Look, a lot of injuries to their wide receivers there. Could be shifting over a little bit more to a slot receiver role. So with him in Zeke, what do you make of this backfield where it stands now?
I like this backfield, Amanda, because the way that you got to look at things with them is we know that Zeke has always been the heavy-duty ball carrier, the high-volume guy. Things aren't quite the same as he gets a little bit up there in years. He's still going to be a dangerous player, but you notice with this talk about Tony Pollard going to the slot, that tells me they're going to do what we call a pony backfield a lot more. Both of them on the field at the same time. That way he's in the slot. He can still run jet sweeps that way. They can hand the ball to Pollard. They can motion him back into the backfield. That gives them a lot more options and other things for the defense to deal with. But Tony Pollard in open field, remember, he's the more explosive back at this stage, Amanda. He had more of the 20-yard runs, the 10-yard runs last year. He's that guy for them.
When it comes to this Dallas defense, Dan Quinn was up for a number of head coaching positions. He is still there. How important was it for him to stay?
It was really important for him to stay because of what he established with that defense. But you know what else was important? That Mike McCarthy was on board for it as well. Dan Quinn actually went to Mike McCarthy.
He went to him, yeah, that's right.
And said, listen, we know, let's not kid ourselves. All this conversation out there about me being here, is that affecting you as a head coach? Dan Quinn had been a head coach before in Atlanta. He's sensitive to that. Would it be better if I'm not here? And Mike McCarthy smartly said, no, that's not the issue at all. I've been a head coach twice now. I'm confident in what I'm doing out there. We need you running this team. Remember, last year, this defense, third down percentage was a big deal. They got off the field second in the NFL. How about the takeaways? Dan Quinn has always preached that. You go back to Atlanta, Amanda, every room you walked into on defense had a football displayed in the room. and you were always supposed to knock the football out, do sorts of things. Takeaway is a huge part of what they're doing. Now with Micah Parsons rushing the passer, Tank Lawrence rushing the passer, can they continue to get those takeaways with Trayvon Diggs downfield with the 11 interceptions?
So far you've been fairly positive about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Let's look at their win total here. 12-5 last season. It is set at 10.5. How do you feel?
I take under. I'm actually going under on this one, and we heard Jeremy St. Louis talk about it. There hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East since the Eagles in the early 2000s. It is a hard division to repeat, and Dallas's schedule is a monster. I mean, they're opening up with Tampa Bay. They're going to get Green Bay later on during the season. I mean, take a look at this stretch there. They're going to the Rams, okay? So you've got a number of games there. The Colts on a Sunday Night Football. The Titans late in the season going to Tennessee, and that game will probably mean something for both of those teams. I just think it's going to be very difficult for them to get to the same number of wins as they did last year. But in the NFC East, you might not have to in order to make the playoffs.
Who wins the? Do we see back-to-back champs? Let's look at the odds there. The Cowboys are plus 130 right now, just slightly better odds than the Eagles. What do you think about the Cowboys' odds to win the division?
I like the odds, but I like the Eagles a little bit better. I think the Eagles are ascending right now. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. Everyone's talking about a referendum this year on Jalen Hurts and whether he'll be the quarterback in 2023 for the Eagles. Give the Eagles credit. They've surrounded him with enough talent that they're going to get their answer. Miles Sanders leading the running game. Dallas Goedert at tight end. They went and traded for A.J. Brown at wide receiver to go with Devontae Smith, who they drafted in the first round last year. Jalen Reagor, a former first-round pick, he's got to step up to the plate and get it done for them. But that offensive line is as good as you're going to find in the NFC and in the NFL total. This is an Eagles team that's given Jalen Hurts every opportunity. And I think that he's up to the challenge. I like them a little bit better than Dallas in the division.
We snagged to get you in here before the season begins because once it does, we're only going to see you on TV.
But I'll wave. Will you wave back?
You'll wave.
Okay, you'll wave back, right?
We'll see you in various hotel rooms throughout the year.
Wherever it is.
Give us a bold prediction before you leave for the Cowboys this season.
Okay, we talked about Dak Prescott and over-under on touchdown passes. One big reason, Dalton Schultz, his tight end. Okay, a lot of people don't talk about him because there's so many great tight ends in the NFL. Last 2 seasons, he's caught 63 and 78 passes. Don't be surprised with Michael Gallup missing time early if that number goes up for him. I'm predicting, here's my bold prediction, Dalton Schultz approaches 90-plus catches this year and really breaks out for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a good bold prediction, Charles. We appreciate it.
Thank you
so
for the time.
much.
Great
Are
to
you
see
ready
you.
for the season?
We're all ready for the season. All right, everybody's ready for preseason to be done. Let's get to the real stuff.
Let's get it going. Charles Davis, thank you so much for joining us here on HQ. Yes, the NFL, we are counting down the days. It returns September 11th to CBS, and you can stream all those games also on Paramount+. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.